Good.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what is up? What is up? Welcome to another edition of the Game Time Radio Show, a Sunday brunch edition, a Sunday time change edition of the Game Time Radio Show, man. This is episode 26. And let's go ahead and introduce the crew, man. As always, I'm your humble host, Edub, and I know you guys are used to hearing us at 6 p.m., but we have a lot of things going on in the city of Atlanta, and we're going to be out at these events. So we decided to do the show a little early. So the usual suspects are here, man. To my right, actually, like in front of me, because you're not to my right. We're not in the studio. ATL Phil, how we doing, sir?
How's it going, man? It feels like 8 a.m.
Time change definitely in the building, man. I got Bob. What's going on, brother?
Man, I'm agreeing with Phil here. That hour has just a little rough on the old sleep schedule.
Yeah, man. I was up. I don't even remember what I was watching, and before I knew it, I'm like, man, it's like 3 something. But we're gonna make it do what it do, like we always do. And I wanted to play the intro because our intro got updated, and I want to see if I can play the intro on here. So, guys, give me just a brief moment, and I'll get us started. Maybe that'll get us going into the Game Time radio mood. Little mood music. Let me do a little. And thank you guys for joining us. We've had some technical difficulties as usual. Anytime you're dealing with computers or anything like that, there's always going to be some hiccups, but we're going to push through it, man. So we appreciate those for.
Hi, Day. Hi, Day.
All right, let's go.
There's no one can stop me. Lynx is a conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody else. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Nifty. There's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. Look, you're my boy!
It's game time with your host, Edub, Bob, and ATL Phil. Welcome to the Game Time Radio Show.
All right, so that means, Bob, you are official now. Now that we get you in the intro.
It took a little while, but I feel the love now.
Thanks to all the folks at 1100 for making those edits for us. We really appreciate you guys, man. But like I mentioned earlier, man, we got several events that we are going to be at today. Phil is going to be at the Atlanta United game. Bob is going to be covering the not Georgia. Who are you covering, Bob?
The Atlanta Legends.
The Atlanta Legends.
The legends that are the Atlanta Legends.
The legendary Atlanta Legends. And I'm going to be covering Hawks Pelicans today. So we're going to be out and about. So we figured let's go ahead and do our show a little bit early and get rid of some of these topics, and we can keep things rocking and rolling. So first things first, man, we don't have the sounder, but Fresh Off the Press is usually our first segment. And Fresh Off the Press is brought to us by our guy, Peter Beckford of Beckford Realty. Make sure you go by Peter's website. And actually, Peter has 2 open houses today. So go by his website, go by our Instagram. You can get through it through our website, through our Instagram. Check out Peter's Instagram page. He has 2 open houses, 2 listings today from 2 to 4. He's a good friend of the show, good supporter. And just give him a call if you have any real estate needs. Peter Beckford can be reached at 404-547-3151. Again, that number is 404-547-3151. So the big news, of course, is Antonio Brown, but we're not going to start with that. We're going to get to that. Guys, let's start with a little college basketball. So yesterday was Duke UNC part deuce, and UNC, man, they get the win. Of course, no Zion Williams. They get the sweep for the season, 2-0. Guys, and I guess I'll throw this in your direction first, Phil. Is UNC being overlooked, man? They beat Duke. This is second time. Of course, there's no Zion, and the big guy got hurt this game too. But is UNC being overlooked, man?
Definitely. I mean, they were number 4 in the country. They're obviously going to jump ahead of Duke now. They're going to be number 3. They have a great chance to win the ACC tournament. I think the favorite could be them and Virginia, depending on when or if Zion comes back. So they have a great chance. They're playing great basketball. I mean, they have a great history, of course. They're UNC. So I don't see why not. I think I've spoken on this before. I don't trust Virginia's postseason. They just don't have enough offense at times, and I really think you need that, especially in the tournament when everyone locks in. So I really think that UNC could really make a run, and I wouldn't be shocked to see them in the Final Four, of course, or even winning it all.
Bob, what are your thoughts on this UNC team, man? They've beaten Duke twice in a row.
What I like about North Carolina is that they seem to be a more complete team, less reliant on the superstars. Kobe White, their starting guard, has been electric lately. I mean, he is on a roll. He's kind of carrying that team as it seems lately. But yeah, they, Duke is just, again, injuries away from being, an early exit in the tournament. So yeah, I like them more as a complete team.
Yeah, and I think that and shout out to our guys Jansen and Horace in the IG chat room. Jansen said North Carolina is winning the title, so that's always a fun conversation once the brackets come out. I saw something last night that I think that North Carolina with this win is probably going to be a #1 seed, and it's going to be interesting to see where the seeds fall. So does Duke bode well as #2 seed once they get Zion back? Another question I want to ask you guys, and I'll throw this in your direction, Bob. What does this, I guess with Duke losing and them playing, it's just different without Zion, right? So what does this say about RJ Barrett and Cam Reddish? Does this say anything negatively or positively about them maybe being able or not able to carry a team without a guy like Zion Williamson?
The deal with Reddish and Barrett are that they're not going to I guess not be looked down upon for this. I mean, they're still going to be drafted in the top 4 or 5. It just, I think the difference with Zion being gone is Zion brings so much excitement, so much energy to them, so that when they are, down and all that stuff, they are able to. He's able to bring that energy with a thunder dunk or something like that. So. Yeah, I don't look down on them at all. So,
Phil, what does this say about Cam and Barrett? I mean, does it? I mean, because obviously they're gone. I mean, does this show their inability to carry a team without Zion?
No, because I mean, when you prepare and practice with your star all season long, and then he's gone, it's hard to just adjust on the fly like that. Especially we're talking about like 19 and 20-year-olds. It's not like we're talking about seasoned NBA vets where they can just adjust their game on the fly. These guys were used to having Zion there. Zion was the guy, and they were like the Batman and Robin to Zion. So I wouldn't hold it against them. And they're still a very good team. It's just they've been losing to other very good teams. I mean, UNC is not just another team. UNC, of course, like we said, is a title contender.
We were talking I was just talking to Jansen and Horace in the IG chat room, and if you had to give a favorite, and I want to find out who your favorites are. Jansen said he really likes the UNC team. Horace said he likes Duke, Virginia, or the Zags. I really like that Gonzaga squad. I would probably hold out and wait until I see the seeding and see which road these guys have to take. But early on, guys, who you guys like going into the tournament?
Gonzaga. I think this is the year for them because there's so much competitive balance. There's not that one team that's ahead of everybody. So I think this is honestly their best chance to win.
Who do you like, Phil?
I'm going to go with UNC. I really think they have a really good chance this year. The Zion injury, that kind of takes them out. I don't think even if he comes back, I don't think he's going to be 100%.
Another team that made the news yesterday was Murray State. Murray State's been making moves, because of Ja Morant, who has just been balling out of control, man. Nobody is going to really pick Murray State to win a championship, but what are your thoughts on just seeing Ja Morant in the tournament?
I think he can really put that team on his back and help them make a run. He's like, those mid-major guys are really cool and end up being they can end up being some of the biggest stars sometimes.
Yeah, this year, like I just said, with the disparity of teams that are that are in there, this might be the best chance for a team like a Murray State to the run that that they're making. So they got just as much a chance as anybody this year. I'm telling you, it's wide open.
Yeah, I think that with Duke, I mean, even with Duke and even with the full Zion, I think that there's still no clear, like, dominant team. And I think that is the beauty of the Final Four. That is the beauty of March Madness, is that these mid-majors and a team like a Murray State with the Ja Morant, who was just electric. Seeing on them go to like a run to the Sweet 16 would be so dope, like so dope. I'm gonna pull for them whoever they're going against, because the more Ja Morant you get in the NCAA tournament, the better.
Yeah, that's why we love the NCAA tournament, though. I mean, it's so unpredictable like that. So.
Yeah, definitely so. Also, if you are listening to this, you're watching this, make sure that you join our tournament bracket. I'll probably be setting that up today. We're going to have a tournament bracket featured with the Game Time Radio Show, and we'll probably give the winner maybe like a T-shirt or a gift card or something. We'll give something away for those of you who come out on top. And for bragging rights, if you guys know how to pick these college basketball games. And so make sure you stay tuned for that. We'll post that on our Twitter. We'll post it on our Facebook and all that jazz. So make sure you join. Now, one thing you don't want to do is somebody joined a bracket that I set up last year, and she didn't even make her picks. So look, when you join the bracket, make your picks. I shouldn't have to say that, but hey, when you join the bracket, make the picks, man.
Yeah, kind of hard to win if you don't pick nobody.
and I can understand how she did it, because when the brackets come out, there's usually like a week before that first game. So you'd be like, oh, I'll go back and make the picks. But then I guess you just never got around to it. So.
I mean, hey, you're just some blind guesses, honestly.
Yeah. And really, I mean, it's really no like rhyme or reason to this. Because one year I really went through and I was like really dissecting each game, looking at stats, and I did horrible. So I just do the monkey thing, just like meeny, miny, mo. I let me pick one upset in this region, one upset in that region. Play the favorites, and you do much better. So, yeah.
That's the beauty of picking.
Yeah. Gonzaga, UNC, Duke. Was there any other teams that we should look out for going into the tournament?
Michigan, they're a team on the rise. I definitely like them. Virginia, you can just never count out. I mean, I think they're more built for regular season, but they can make as good a run as all the other guys. I mean, they're a good team.
Yeah. How about you, Bob? You got any ones?
Houston. Watch out for Houston.
Watch out! Oh, that's a sleeper pick, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Georgia State too, man. They may make it in there and hopefully do some noise, man. Shout out to Coach Ron Herner, man. He's really got those guys playing some good ball.
Those 13-14 squads, you never want to play them in the first round. I mean, they're just always so dangerous. So
yeah, man, because they so hungry, man. Like they get limited exposure, and then it's usually like their first game where they play like a big. I mean, I love those matchups, man. So. We're going to see what happens.
Black for their marketing campaign as the best team in Georgia, but they've clearly been the best team in Georgia for a few years now.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even close. I mean, who's better than Georgia State? It's not Tech. It ain't UGA. It ain't, no disrespect to Phil, it's not Kennesaw. But, yeah, man, so we're really looking forward to college basketball. Make sure you join our bracket. once we get it set up. So this has been fresh out the press, brought to us by Peter Beckford. Make sure you check out Beckford Realty for all of your real estate needs. 404-547-3151. Now, our next segment, of course, is the story of the day, and this is brought to us by our new sponsor, West Georgia Auto Transmission. Hit them up for all of your needs, and if you need a transmission, anything you need dealing with your car, 770-834-4041. Bob, tell us a little bit about West Georgia Auto Transmission, our new partners.
Yeah, man, great sponsor to have for the squad. They're located in Carrollton, so if you're on the west side of Atlanta, definitely go check them out. Doesn't have to be transmission work. They'll do just about anything, any kind of general repair, oil changes, stuff like that. Just tell Daniel that I sent you there, and he'll hook you up with something nice.
No doubt, no doubt. We're really appreciative of West Georgia Auto coming on board and being part of our partners, and we look to hopefully have them on with us next week.
Hold on, we are having some issues here. No clue what's going on.
Was that me or was that one of you guys?
I'm not sure. Phil and I are having echoes all over here. Give me
all right. All right, so the news of the day, of course, is one Mr. Antonio Brown. It appears that he is headed to Oakland. They have a deal in principle to send him to Oakland for a 3rd and a 5th. So not only does Antonio get out of Pittsburgh, he gets his money. He goes to a quarterback with a fairly decent, strong arm, a young guy, and man, this is big news for Antonio. I'll ask you, Bob, I guess I'll throw this in your direction. What is, well, I know it's hard to say it. Who won this deal out of the Antonio Brown sweepstakes?
Antonio Brown won this deal. I mean, he gets the new deal he would have never got from Pittsburgh. So, so he definitely wins this one. But you know who the big loser is the Atlanta Falcons, because all of a sudden Julio Jones becomes that much more valuable at that contract, and they don't have the money to spend like that. So, he definitely was the big winner. Good for the Raiders. I don't understand why they'd make that move, considering they gave away a receiver last year, only to bring someone in to me, which is the same quality. So, I'm going to say that Antonio Brown wins. I don't think any team wins.
Phil, who won this deal, man?
Antonio Brown, of course. I like the move for the Raiders, but like Bob said, they just got rid of somebody last year because of quote unquote character issues or whatever, and then they bring in a similar guy this year, and then gave up 2 draft picks for it. I don't understand, but I mean, on the field, of course, I like the move. And then congrats to Brown. He just got he got very much richer, and also Michael Thomas down there in New Orleans was very happy because he's going to get some money, and then Julio is going to be very happy about this too, which I don't know what the Falcons are going to do. It's going to be some interesting time coming up for the Falcons.
Yeah, man, definitely. I agree with both of you guys. Antonio is definitely the big winner in this one. He gets his pay increase. He gets out of Pittsburgh, and he did all of this with like 3 years left in his contract. Talk about the power of the players. And it's so funny to see people's reactions when players make things happen for themselves. And it's like the idea that a player can want to play for something other than just winning. Like, okay, yes, he can want to be a winner, but he can also want to get paid. He could also want to be on a team where he gets respect. He could also want to be on a team where he gets some type of, like, he feels like he's getting a certain type of equality. I'm not so much of putting Antonio Brown and Amari Cooper in the same space. I believe that Antonio Brown is head and shoulders ahead of Amari Cooper. And you get them and you keep all of those first-round picks that you accumulated in the Khalil Mack trade. So, I mean, this is a win-win for the Raiders, man.
It's a dangerous precedent being set, though, that players are able to control where they're going.
I think it's a great thing because look, man, if you tried it and he wasn't valuable, then he's just going to end up flat in his face, and that's just the roll of the dice that you take. He bet on himself, and he won. He hit that 7.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it's just it defeats the whole purpose of contracts. To me, I don't understand when you make a commitment to one team. I mean, you signed your name on the dotted line. Granted, there was some internal strife going on in that Pittsburgh locker room that could have definitely did create the problems that are there. Ben Roethlisberger seems to be the name mentioned quite often when it comes to this. So, good for him. I mean, like you said, he got his money. He got what he deserved. I think Amari Cooper took a lot of flack because Derek Carr was horrible. Especially last year, or not last year, but the year before that, where Amari's numbers really went down. I think he'll do much better in Dallas. So I just think, obviously Antonio Brown is a top 3 wide receiver in the league right now. He'll definitely help LA, and it definitely hurts, definitely hurts Pittsburgh. But they got Juju, and he's an up and coming rising star in himself. So I think both teams will be okay.
I think that you do raise a valid point about the signing the contract, but my thing is this: the contract doesn't mean anything to the owners because they can cut you or do whatever at any moment. Right. So I think that it's all fair and love and war. You know what I mean? You can stub your toe and hurt your ankle, and you still got 4 years left in that contract. The team can say, you know what, rip. So I mean, I just think
that's definitely a fair statement.
I just think it evens the playing field. And I think that, hey, man, he could have tried to force his way out. And if he was a scrub, guess what? He'll still be sitting on that Pittsburgh Steelers team.
Yeah.
So you still have to have a level of talent. You still have to have a level of value and know your value. Like a third wide receiver in the depth chart is not going to be like, hey, man, I want to be traded. He can say that, but chances are he's not going to have the clout that Antonio Brown does when he says it. So it's going to be interesting to see how this whole thing unfolds. So shout out to Antonio for getting that money, and shout out to the Raiders for taking the chance, man. We're going to see how this thing unfolds. One last thing, Phil, I want to ask you, what does this move mean for Pittsburgh?
It means that they may be itching towards a rebuild. Roethlisberger's only getting older. What's his other name? The other name that's escaped me too. That hasn't really reached a resolution yet either. Things are really falling apart there, and I think eventually the fingers may start pointing at Mike Tomlin.
Bob, what does this move do for Pittsburgh?
Nothing. I mean, it's just like I said before, they have Juju. They'll be fine in the wide receiver department. Now we're really going to see you've essentially eliminated what you said were the 2 problems on the team, which are Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown. So now you have no more excuses. I mean, now if there's trouble in the locker room or trouble in Pittsburgh, the blame's got to be pointed at one person, and that is Ben Roethlisberger. So, they laid down their bet on the table that it was them that was the problem and not your franchise quarterback. And I don't necessarily agree with that, but I guess we'll start to see real soon.
Do you guys think Juju Schuster is ready to be that guy? We had those same conversations when they traded away the other guy, and they were asking the same questions about Antonio Brown. He proved his worth. Do you guys think that Juju is ready for that primetime role?
Juju's money.
You believe in Juju, Phil?
I definitely think so. It all depends on Big Ben. Does he still have?
I mean, this is year what for Ben, and he's pretty much being held together by masking tape and super glue, man. How many more years are we going to get out of Big Ben?
At least 3, I think. But you know what's great about being a wide receiver for Ben Roethlisberger is he's the old time gunslinger. It's why guys like Brett Favre, why guys like Drew Brees, guys that literally will just throw the ball all over the field. And so he's one of those guys that can make pretty much any wide receiver into a star.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm still holding out on the Juju thing. I think that he'll be fine, but I can't say that I definitively know that he's going to be ready to be like the number, because things are going to change. Like, it's totally different when Antonio Brown is not on the other side of you. I hope he does well. I really like the kid, and I hope he balls out. I hope he balls out of control. I hope he has a great year. I'm just waiting to see exactly how he's going to respond to being the man. So we'll see how that goes. To the association, guys, the big talk all week long in the slow news cycle this week has been the LA Lakers. They lost last night against the Boston Celtics. I looked at that squad, and it's like, I don't know how they even put up 10 guys on the court, because everybody's sitting on the bench in street clothes. You had Lonzo, you had Lance Stevenson, you had Brandon Ingram, Kuzma. Like, I don't even know who played. Which begs the question, let's play the blame game. Who deserves the blame, or let's divvy out some blame for this season for this Laker, because a lot of people penciled in the Lakers as like a 4 or 5 seed in the West.
I'm putting the blame on everyone except the young core.
Explain your answer.
The young guys, you could see them start to gel and come together last year. And then, like I said about a month ago, LeBron was the worst thing that could happen to the young core. So you really came in, disrupted that. You killed their chemistry. You killed their confidence. You killed their development. And then eventually you're going to break it up, because you're going to trade for Anthony Davis or somebody. They're going to go after somebody. Even if it's not Anthony Davis this summer, they're going to get somebody. And management didn't do the young core any favors. I bet they weren't, reassuring them in the locker room. And then the worst possible thing, you didn't trade any of them at the deadline. So now it's like awkward. Like, I don't know how they even, I'd pay money to be in that locker room before and after games and see the interactions between them and LeBron.
They got rid of Zubats.
Yeah, that was a mistake too.
All right, so Phil is blaming everybody except the young core. Who are you blaming, Bob?
Magic Johnson.
Magic.
He's done a poor job. Honestly, I didn't understand the Zubac trade. The LeBron thing is clearly not working out. The trade rumors with trying to bring Davis here and obviously affected the young core. So yeah, Magic's getting the blame for me, which is hard to believe, because he is such a business savvy guy that I thought that he would make a fantastic general manager. Absolutely horrible year for him.
Shout out to my guy Doug. He says, I blame everyone. He says, I blame everyone but the young players. Magic Johnson needs to step down as the GM. And that's funny, because I know Doug is a huge Magic Johnson fan, so that's interesting. I think that there's a number of people that you have to hold responsible. Of course, you got to hold Magic. I think we got to blame the head coach a little bit. Luke has escaped all of this, because when you have LeBron, it's easy to just throw all of the blame on Bron. And I'm a big LeBron fan, and I believe that he has to carry some of this. I don't think he has to carry as much as people would like to believe. I mean, this is year 16. So it's like, how much more do we expect him to keep on being Superman? And for him not to be Superman in year 16, yeah, I can put a little bit of blame on him, but I'm not going to lay the whole thing at his feet. I think Magic has to wear a little bit of this. But I'm not letting this young core off the hook, man. I think they got to be pros, man. If they ball out of control, and if they have a good season this year and something comes up next year, they could be on the trade deadline. They could be on the trade block next year. What are you going to do next year if they put you up for trade block? You're going to cry and whine because They put you on the trade block. You're going to get into your feelings. That's the nature of the beast, man. I think that's just becoming a pro. Look at guys like Jamal Crawford, who's played for almost every team in the NBA. Everywhere he goes, he gets buckets. It doesn't matter. And these young guys got to grow up, man. So I think there's plenty of blame to go around. So let me ask you guys this. What did you guys think about the LeBron and Kyrie's conversation last night after the game? And they're both talking with the the jersey over the mouth. What is that? Like, do they think we're going to read their lips?
Yeah, I think always do that. Go ahead.
That conversation was just clearly, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry, bro. Let's do this one more time, bro.
Phil, what do you think they're talking about, man?
Man, Kyrie's probably like, man, I'm so sorry. I didn't know how hard this would be, man. You got me out here with these scrubs now. LeBron's like, shoot, we're not even making the playoffs. What you mean?
Hey, Bron was like, hey, man, let me tell you what. I can get rid of Rondo. I can apply and move Lonzo. Have your guy call my guy. We'll get this thing done, man. You come out to L.A. I already got a spot for you. You can come kick it with me.
I'm surprised that Kyrie hasn't signed with LeBron's guy yet.
Yeah, I mean, in due time. Man, I'm telling you guys, it is going to be such a fun summer to see where all of these major pieces land, man. It's going to be so fun. So can't wait to see it.
This might be one of the best free agencies in a long, long time.
I just hope that we don't all end flat on our faces and everybody just resigns with the team that they're with. I want to see fireworks. I want to see people mad. I want confusion. I want utter chaos in free agency because that is the most entertaining. Nobody wants to see Kyrie just re-up with Boston. Nobody wants to see AD be like, all right, I'm just going to stay in New Orleans and KD stay with Golden State. I want the chaos.
Same thing here. I love the big free agency.
Yeah. So that was not fresh off the press. That was story of the day brought to us by West Georgia Auto Transmission. Having a knocking in your car, check engine light on, they will take care of you. You can get to their website via our website, GTR Radio 1100. Just click on their banner from all of our websites, the Hawks Beat, ATL Sports HQ. Their banner is up on all of our websites, so go by and check them out. If you have any car needs, tell them the Game Time Radio Show will take care of you, and they'll make sure that you get taken care of. The 285 is our next segment, fellas, and this segment is brought to us by ATL Sports HQ, and it is brought to us by thehawksbeat.com. Phil, tell us a little bit about ATL Sports HQ and what they got going on.
For sure, we're out here trying to become the go-to source for all things Atlanta sports. We cover events live. Bob has Braves covered that through Game Time Radio at 1100 a.m. There's a great thing going on. Chop up, chop down, him and the Bear 2878. You know, we get the Hawks teams covered. We get United covered. Georgia Tech, Georgia State, everybody. So definitely come join us at atlsportshq.com and write for us. We're definitely looking for more writers.
So make sure you check out atlsportshq.com, part of the Game Time Radio family, and we'll talk to you a little bit more about the hawksbeat.com in just a moment. First things first, man, as we go over these local sports, congratulations to Georgia State, the Sun Belt champs. They finished the season as the champs of the Sun Belt Division. They will be the #1 seed in their tournament, and 22-9 on the season, 13-5 in conference. Shout out to Coach Hunter for another great season, the best team in college basketball in the state of Georgia, man. We're really looking forward to see what they do in their tournament and possibly the NCAA tournament as well. So shout out to Georgia State. Phil, you are going to be covering the game today for the Atlanta United. Tell us a little bit about who they're playing, what's going on, and what's at stake.
They're playing FC Cincinnati. They're a brand new team. They were in the second division last year, the developmental league of MLS, basically. So they got a few players, but they're not expected to do much this year. They're not Atlanta United or LAFC last year, who will come and burst on the scene with their debut. They do have a great fan base. In the second division last year, they were drawing 25 fans a game. So it's really exciting to see another great fan base come into MLS. And there's not much at stake today, but Atlanta United has to come out and get a win. They came out flat last week in DC and then got throttled in the CCL match with Monterey. They're down 3-0. Second leg is Wednesday at 8. That's pretty much over. They're not playing Herendino where they can just come home and easily win 4-1 or something. It would take a monstrous effort to come back from 3-0 against the best team in Liga MX. So basically the best team on this continent. So it's not looking too good in Frank de Boer's early on, you know, in overreaction zone on Twitter. People are calling for his head already after 4 games. So some of his substitution pattern and the way he ran out everybody on Sunday when there was really no need to, people aren't too happy. So let's see if he runs out there today. I really don't want to see Joseph or Pity very much today. It doesn't make sense when you have so much at stake on Wednesday with this crazy schedule going on. So we'll see what happens. I'm not concerned yet. It's a long season.
So that game today is at what time, Phil?
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. I'm not sure if it's sold out yet, Phil, or is people still available to get tickets or what?
There should be some resale tickets available.
Okay. So make sure that you guys check out the Atlanta United, man. It is a great product to go check out, and make sure you guys go check that out. Bob's going to give us our Braves beat and let us know what exactly is going on with the Bravos as they're in this is the 3rd week of spring training.
Yeah, Braves have looked semi-decent in spring training. Pitching still a little bit of walk issues. Josh Donaldson finally did make his debut, and he says he's healthy and ready to go, so he'll play a little bit more this next week for sure. But the big surprise this year is for spring training has been Christian Pache. He has been awesome. He's batting .421, 2 home runs, 7 RBIs, and a stolen base in 19 at-bats for spring training. He survived first cuts, and the thing is that I think that if he continues to play well, Nick Markakis could be relegated to a bench job while Pache takes the starting job. He is the future of that squad. So and I think one reason why we didn't make a play for Bryce Harper out there defensively, Andrew Jones says that he's better than he was at that age defensively. So, which says a lot when Andrew Jones says that.
Not to mean to interrupt. Is Andrew Jones around the organization at all? Does he have
Yeah, he's been in spring training. Him and Fred McGriff have been there quite a bit this year, working with the guys. So, but yeah, Andrew, they said he's like a hybrid of Ender Inciarte and Andrew Jones defensive wise. He's projected a lot like Jason Hayward was coming up. I think he does have a better bat than Jason Hayward did coming up. So he's going to be, he's in a lot of the top 100 prospect lists and stuff like that. He's high on our prospect list as well. So he's definitely a name to watch out. The other guy was Drew Waters that we should watch out for, but Waters, he got cut in this first round of cuts, so and wasn't expected to be up there. So I definitely think that Pache's got a really, really good chance of making it this year, and I hope he does. Because, like I said, he's shown some power too this spring. So, but yeah, so definitely watch out for him. Definitely watch out for Josh Donaldson, and then, like I said, keep an eye on those pitching matchups because there's I think 2 spots available in the starting rotation. For someone to claim and take up. Kyle Wright is staking claim on one of those spots. Especially if he continues his strong spring training. So definitely still a lot to watch out for in spring training for sure.
What's your message to the Braves fans that have been overreacting to not making moves all summer or all winter.
To do what now?
What is your message to Braves fans that have been overreacting, saying basically the sky is falling, that the Braves didn't make major moves this winter?
It's just funny to me because I don't understand it, because we put our trust in the Braves front office to ride with this rebuild. We still have a lot of young pieces. And so again, Bryce Harper, with what he got in free agency, Manny Machado, what he got in free agency, we are never going to make a play at anybody at 10 years. That the Braves have never done that. They didn't offer that to Chipper Jones. They didn't offer that to Freddie Freeman. It's just not going to happen. And the thing, with as far as Craig Kimbrell goes, Craig Kimbrell's still a free agent, so anything is possible. Again, his asking price was 6 years, $100 million. The Braves aren't going to pay that for a 31-year-old closer. That's just not going to happen either. And so I trust Alex Anthopoulos to make the deals that we need to make. Now, the great thing about having prospects is that come trade deadline time, if we're in the thick of things, that's potential trade bait, and it doesn't cost us any money in free agency. And so, I think that if pieces need to be made, and even if it's early, if Alex Anthopoulos thinks that this is not working, then you could just make a trade for something like that.
Bob, they say that Donaldson is set to make his first start on Friday. What are you looking to see out of him?
He made that start this last Friday.
Okay.
And I can't remember what he did. He just took 2 at-bats. But really for him, I just want him to be game ready for opening day. And he'll get his swings in. He says that he's fine. There's no health issues. He just, took a little bit longer to get into game, but that he's been doing simulated game batting to get more at-bats in. So he says he's going to be ready to go for opening day. And that's what I want. When you're paying a guy $23 million, I want him to be game ready opening day.
Appreciate that, brother. That was Phil with the ATL United beat, and Bob with the Braves beat. Bob, tell the folks where they can find you on all of the Braves information that you're going to have going on this year.
At Chop Up, Chop Down. And then you can also find me at atlsportshq.com/chop up, chop down, which is where the Braves articles and stuff will be. That's
what's up. In keeping it in local sports, man, let's talk a little bit of this Hawks talk. They lose a tough one last night to the Brooklyn Nets. A Vince Carter 3 falls short at the end of regulation, but another 2 big monster games from Trae Young and from John Collins. It seems like we've been talking about this duo all season long. Now, these games aren't translating into wins, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but we are seeing the maturation of these 2 young guys develop into a duo that should be here for the next foreseeable future. Trae with the triple-double, John Collins with a 33 and 20 game. I thought he easily should have had 40, 45 points, but the rate of threes that they were just jacking up was just, I had no explanation for it. Phil, what were your thoughts watching last night's game?
They need to stay out of the weight room or something, because it looked like every single shot was short, and they just kept putting them up. I mean, yeah, they were good looks, and at Brooklyn, they had 20 in the first quarter too. So both teams, I thought they were on their way to like an NBA record. The Hawks put up like 110 shots yesterday. They played with insane pace. If they would have knocked down like 5 more of those threes, they would have scored about 140 last night. It was an entertaining game. You love to see it. I wanted to dig into the history books and see when is the last time a duo of Hawks players put up a triple-double and a 30-20 game in the same game. That's probably the first time. Actually, that probably doesn't happen much in the entire NBA. So it's a great thing to see those two. I think John Collins, like you said, could have had 40 or 45. His minutes are still tapered a little bit because of that flu. He must have had the flu very bad to miss 3 games and then come back on a minutes restriction. So I'm interested to see what he'll do today. I really think the team will be very tired coming off of 22 hours in between the games, which is just insane. It's just Trae Young. He was awful in the first half, but still ends up with a triple-double. It's like you're seeing this where he can start off slow and still have the confidence and ability to pretty much take over down the stretch. That is something we've never had since Dominique, pretty much. He has that X factor. He has that it factor. He has the confidence, and he has the ability to really put the team on his back and do what needs to be done to lead us to victory or to keep us competitive.
Yeah, I agree. Bob, what were your thoughts on last night's game?
What can you say? I mean, we talked about this before the show. You know, the first triple-double by a rookie in Hawks history. John Collins, 33 and 20, first double-double with 30-20 since Kevin Willis. And so that's impressive. I mean, I finally feel that we have the duo that will lead us into the future. Every game that these two play together impress me more and more and more, and just make me more of a fan. I mean, they're enjoyable to watch, even in losses. The wins will come. I mean, when you're rebuilding like this, you know, what you want to see is the small pieces start to come into play. You know, you want to see some growth. And I mean, it's amazing to me, especially when it comes to Trae, is that how well he continues to play later on in the year, because this is when I figured that he would be, you know, struggling and not putting up the numbers due to the length of the season, you know, and your legs start to go, you know, but he just seems to be getting better and better as the year goes along. You know, I'm just really, really, really excited to see what the future brings for this squad.
Yeah, I mean, I echo both of your sentiments. I had our guy Ty covering the game last night for me. I'll be at the game tonight covering. And it is good just to see the maturation of a Trae Young. It's like, okay, yeah, you're not shooting the ball well, but you're still contributing. I mean, you got 10 boards, you got 10 assists. And, like, I can deal with the bad nights shooting. If you're going to give me 10 assists and 10 rebounds, like, I'll take that every day of the week. I mean, you're contributing. It would be nice to see some semblance of defense on this team every once in a while. I'm a defensive guy, so I'm always going to bring up that element. The offense is clicking, like it's clicking. So, I mean, before time, and I think it's just up to Travis to just fill in the gaps. It's obvious that the foundation is going to be Trae and John. And now you're just going to have to find auxiliary pieces. You know, you're going to have to find like a guy who does nothing but shoot. I mean, you got pretty much the Hooter kid, but you can never have too many shooters. You're going to have to find a guy who does nothing but play defense. All of those auxiliary pieces go into championship basketball. You look at the old Bulls, you look at even the Warriors, everybody has a role. And it's good to know that we have like a good foundation in John Collins, in Trae Young, and put some guys around them, build a little bit of depth. I've always said I'm a big fan of Coach Pierce, and I like his staff. I like his temperament with how he deals with his team. I've seen him be firm. I've seen him be upset, and he's hold people accountable. And I really enjoy that. So if you're a Hawks fan, man, it's definitely looking up. As far as today's game, I don't know what we're going to see. I mean, this Pelicans team is going to be a shell of itself. But like Phil said, man, this is their second game, and like this is like, I mean, it hasn't even been really 24 hours, and you lose an hour and you play a game. It's an early tip. I think at like 6.
It's a 6 tip. Yesterday was 7, and the time change.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not really expecting much. If they come out with good energy, I think that's a credit to this team and a credit to the coaching staff. But I'm not really expecting much. And if they lose, I'm not really caring about the wins and losses at this point in the season. So. Big ups to the Hawks, man.
They got to get big so badly. I mean, I'm not as concerned with the first draft pick, but at the second pick, they've got to draft a center.
Yeah, and for as much as I love Alex Len, and you know, we're pretty much assuming that Dwayne Dedmon's going to be gone, and credit to him. I hope he gets a good paycheck because he deserves it. You know, I think Alex Len is a serviceable guy. I would like to have a guy better than him. And that's no shade to Alex. Alex has had a great year. He's developed a 3-point shot. I just would like to see an upgrade like you, Bob, at that center position. And even if nothing else, to provide a little depth. So, yeah, I'm in agreement with you for that. So make sure you guys check out thehawksbeat.com for all of your Atlanta Hawks coverage, for live in-game tweets, post-game coverage, locker room sound bites. We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. Check out thehawksbeat.com. Our Twitter and screen name for Instagram is @HawksBeat, so make sure you guys check that out as well. Closing the show up, guys, and I got just one thing for you guys on bells and buzzers, man. They'll go around the horn, man. Bells or buzzers on daylight saving time as a whole, man. Like, what are your thoughts on daylight saving time? Let me hear it.
I say just leave it as the spring forward. Just leave it the hour. That way it doesn't get dark at 5 o'clock in the afternoon during the winter. Just leave it that hour ahead.
Yeah, man, I'm hitting the buzzer. Why do you got to mess with time? Come on now. Just let there be just one set time. It's hard enough, like, knowing, like, you know, figuring out Pacific Standard Time, Eastern Standard Time, Hawaii time, Mountain Time. Just put everybody on the same deal. And, I mean, because there's, like, I think it's like, what, Arizona or something that doesn't even move their clock or anything like that. So, man, who needs that? I'm tired of losing an hour's sleep once a year.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's Arizona. I think it's another state that doesn't really do daylight saving time.
Yeah.
I'm hitting the buzzer on this. Even when we gain that hour back, you should have never took my hour. Just leave the hour alone. You know what I mean? Just like leave the hour alone. I think we'll be good. And if you understand like the history of daylight saving time, had to deal with farmers and look, man, when was the last time y'all seen a farmer? I haven't seen a farmer in ages. Like, let's just leave this thing as it is.
I agree.
Oh, man. So
moving forward, I don't want it getting dark before I even get home from work, ever.
Yeah, that is a bummer, man. Like, you know, coming home when it's dark, it just makes you want to get in bed by like 8 o'clock. Yeah, so definitely not a fan of daylight savings time, man. But, I mean, it is what it is, man. So, yeah, man. So next week we will be back in the studio, hopefully. And we'll be back at our regularly scheduled time. So appreciate you guys for checking us out in the midst of our technical difficulties. And this show is still going to be on the podcast format. It's still going to be up on the website, so you'll be able to go back and catch it if you've missed it. Let's go around the horn, guys. Let's give our shout outs. Oh, let's do magic number. You guys got a magic number? We'll go around the horn real quick with magic number. I don't even think I put that in the outline, but let's do magic number real quick, and then we'll do shout out. So do any of you guys got a number you want to shout out first?
Yeah, I'll go ahead. I got 1 and 3. That's the number of wins compared to the number of losses Atlanta United has so far when you combine MLS and CCL play.
Mine is the number 5. 5 innings pitched in spring training for Kyle Wright, 0.00 ERA. That's the stuff you want to see for an ace. I think he is the future ace for the Braves. So 5.0 right now. Could go longer, though.
That's what's up. I'm going to go outside of sports, man. I'm going to go 9. 9 for yesterday, March 9th, was my big sister's birthday. Happy birthday to my big sis, Sabrina, living out in Stone Mountain. She's a teacher, and she is an amazing person. So I hope she enjoyed her birthday. Peace and blessings and love to you, sis. And I just hope that she enjoyed her birthday. And the number 8, March 8th, was her husband's birthday. So they got back-to-back birthdays, kind of like me and my wife. So happy birthday to the both of them, and I hope that that they enjoy this trip around the sun. So happy birthday to them. So 8, 9 are my numbers. Who we shouting out, fellas?
Definitely shout out all of us and the entire HQ team, all our sponsors, everybody supporting week in and week out. We definitely see you and appreciate you. We couldn't and wouldn't do this without you. So keep on supporting and come join us at HQ.
I'm gonna shout out family back home. We're having a family health issues going on at home today, so a little bit down today. So shout out to the family at home. You know, keep us in your thoughts and prayers, and then shout out to the HQ crew and you guys as well. We still make it happen even when we got stuff going on. So shout out to you two for changing up your schedules to be here so we keep the show rolling.
That's what's up. Shout out to the crew, the tenants. Shout out to West Georgia Transmission for being part of our partners. Shout out to Peter Beckford, the Beckford Realty. Shout out to everyone that rode with us despite the technical difficulties. Everybody that listened to the show live, everybody that has been supporting the show on podcast format. We've been doing pretty well as far as that's concerned. Everybody that retweets and reshares all of our content. We appreciate you guys. Just shout out to all the crew and everybody, especially those who woke up in Arizona who didn't have to deal with daylight saving time. Shout out to y'all. And like we said, all shows, man, God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. So if you don't know him, you need to find him and show him love, because that's all he's showing you. LOVE, love. Peace. We out.